Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about Google Analytics 360 and what the price of the license depend on. So, and when we switch off the sound and get rid of the echo, we'll continue. So, let me share my screen and share our slide deck. Today, there are two of us, like me, Lena. I'm responsible for delivering goals and objectives of customers to the analytics team and for quality communication between the clients and our analytics team. And today with me here is Helen.
Hi, guys.
She's our head of customer success. She's responsible for consulting customers on the plans and pricing of OPEX products and Google Analytics 360 suite products. So today we're going to cover the price of GA360 and the factors this price depends on, and what are the reasons for abnormal increases in the number of hits. So we'll talk about where to pay attention when you have non-expected number of hits. Frequently, we'll discuss and cover frequently asked questions from our clients, and we'll show you how to monitor the billable hit volume and what should you do if you exceeded the hit limit and got the bill for huge amount that you didn't expect. So please, I'll remind you that you can ask questions in the top right corner in the chat. So ask questions, or if you hesitate to share your questions in public, please send them at questions@ovox.com. So now we're going to talk about how much is Google Analytics 360. So Helen, please.
Okay, hi again. We'll start with the question, what does GA360 price depend on? The first and the most important is, of course, the number of hits that are sent to Google Analytics. The more hits are generated in your web properties, the higher price will be for the license. The second important thing is the region where your project is located. It depends on the location, and so the price for the GA360 license for the project located in the North America region differs from the price for emerging markets, even for projects with the same level of hits. And what things do not influence on the price is the number of users that work with the reports. You may allow any amount of users and give them the access, and it is managed by their access rules. Also, it doesn't matter how many reports are built in your Google Analytics interface by you or your colleagues. And also the number of features you're using in GA360 and number of integrations. So you can connect your GA with Google BigQuery and export data, or integrate GA with DoubleClick, for example, and it will not influence on the price. So let's start and show you what is hit in Google Analytics. Hit is an interaction that results in data being sent to Google Analytics servers from the web property IDs linked to your company. All these hits could be sent from your website using the on-site code, GTM, Google Tag Manager, or any other tagging system, from your mobile apps via SDK or directly from measurement protocol. You know that this system help you to collect and send hits from any internet-connected device to analytics. So you will be able to see the number of hits collected in your account in such reports, in Google Analytics reports by using custom reports. We will show later how does it look. You can also use Google Analytics API to count the number of hits, or Google BigQuery Expert. And the last is look at your hits, the number of your hits in Google Analytics 360 Suite Home. Those two last reports are available only for those who are already GA360 clients. And the last one is the most precise, and the number of hits stated in this report is the only correct and the most precise here. But at the same time, this report has a number of shortcomings. So all this, there are various types of hits you can send to Google Analytics 360, including page views, screen views, events, e-commerce, and so on. And the value of this metric depends on the settings, filters, and the number of hits per session. What does it mean? Session with over 500 hits may result in hits that are collected but not reported in the UI or nor by API. But all of those hits are included in a billable hit volume. So let's take a look at those reports.
Okay, if you're excited and want to check how many hits you currently have, what you can do, you can go to your Google Analytics Custom Report tab and build this easy custom report. So as the metric, you specify hits, and as the dimension, months of the year. So when you run this report, you got the hits volume you currently have. So to be more precise, please count the average number of hits for the last half year. So this custom report is not so precise and reliable as the next one. So another way you can track the number of hits you currently have is to use Google Analytics Core V3 report. So that's how it looks like. And what should you do? You should specify the metric as a hits again and the dimension. So, and as a result, you got the number of hits splitted by months. And if you want to know what is your tire and about how much Google Analytics may cost you, you can send this number of hits you currently have, calculate the number of hits you currently have, and the region where your company is located, the tasks you want to solve with Google Analytics 360, and email us at questions@ovox.com so we can show you the price or what Google Analytics 360 can solve your challenges. So Helen, please.
Yeah, sure. Let me tell you a bit more about this kind of report. It is available, as I said, only for those users who are already use a GA360 license, and you can find it in the GA360 Suite Home. This is a part of the interface of the Suite Home, and on the under the organization settings usage, you can find the report of the number of hits for every month. You will see the current number of hits for the previous months, and some additional information about number of hits for each property. This report is quite precise, but you can't use any filters or analyze hits by source type or something. So it's just for you to be informed about the number of hits you are already have in your account, and this number of hits will be used for your monthly bill.
Okay, so moving forward, we'll see what might be the results for abnormal increase in the number of hits. So the first reason is JavaScript error. So for example, you've activated JavaScript error and gone for like on a day off. And I think you know the nature of JavaScript error tracking. So those JavaScript errors are generated in huge amount and like really frequently. So once you come back, so you will see that these you will have two news, the good one and the bad one. The good one is like, yeah, you've done everything good and you've tracked all those JS errors you had. And another bad news that all those JS errors have been sent to Google Analytics 360 and have been processed and became like billable ones. So and this might influence the bill that you will get in the end of the month. So auto tracking works has the same logic as JavaScript error tracking. So there are some tools that help you track events automatically and some ready-made libraries. So, but sometimes events might be generated more than like you expected. So another reason is like measurement protocol, like the hits that are sent from third-party system into Google Analytics via a measurement protocol. How does it look like? Actually, it usually happens, you get the bill that is actually like high, and you did nothing on your website, but the number of hits increased and increased. And when you go to your GA, you cannot see like any hits, and you cannot understand why did you get this bill. So the reason might be measurement protocol and the hits that are sent from third-party systems. And another reason, this is the flood, like those fictitious hits that are generated by bots, but not real users. So eventually you can differentiate those flood actions as not real user behavior. Usually when you have access to raw data, you can differentiate those hits as not real user behavior and like fetch them and block the source of those hits. So, and perhaps something that I should have mentioned about the JavaScript error tracking. So we recommend to send those JS errors into Google BigQuery and collect them there and check if there is nothing extraordinary. You can send them back into Google Analytics 360, or you can send those hits into Google Analytics free version, and like not to worry that you might be billed for those JavaScript hits. And like, so there are like two solutions. Okay, so we have the first question, yes, from Romain. What's the minimum price? So as we mentioned before, the price depends on the number of hits you have and the country. So the price actually really differs. So Romain, if you have possibility, please email us at questions@ovox.com with those parameters, and we'll give you a hint how much like is the minimum price. Okay, so moving forward, and we're going to cover frequently asked questions from our clients, and not only. So Helen, could you please take the first question?
Let me start, please. So the first question is, what does a tire mean and what happens when you exceed a tire limit? Yep, the tire is like level or grade having minimal and maximum value. For the present moment, the first tire, so the minimum price, for the first tire is from 0 hits to 500 million hits. So if your web properties are collecting less than 500 million hits, you will have the first tire. The second tire is 100 million hits more. So from 500 million hits and 1 to 600 million hits. It's the second tire. The third is up to 700 million hits and so on. So this over limit for 100 million hits is like a step for another tire. And what happens when you exceed your current tire limit is actually nothing strange or nothing terrible. You will not be blocked. You will not have or get sampling or any other thing. You will just be billed for this extra over limit hits by the end of the month. The next question is, what's the difference between GA360 and Suite 360? So Google Analytics 360 Suite brings all of your accounts together into a single product expertise. It's like a platform, a system where we can collect all your GA360 products. When you're operating in Google Analytics 360 Suite, there is a common header that lets you switch between accounts, organizations, and products. For example, if you have access to more than one user account, you can switch between them using the header. In the context of each organization, you can switch between products in the Google Analytics 360 Suite. For example, Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, Surveys, Optimize, and so on.
Okay, and the third, the most frequently asked question, sorry. So does GA360 license include optimized 360, Data Studio 360, and other products of Google? So the answer is no. Google Analytics 360 is the separate product as well as optimized Data Studio. So, and the licenses for those products should be acquired separately. And in case you have GA360 license, you are able to connect other Google products like Optimize, Data Studio, Attribution, and other Google products to GA360.
What are the additional expenses when using GA360? Actually, it depends on the services which are connected with your GA. Mostly common thing is using integration with the Google BigQuery. And so for our clients, we recommend to use a discount from Google for $500 for processing and storage of the data in Google BigQuery. You know that Google BigQuery is a part of Google Cloud Platform Services, and this discount can be used or applied only for Google BigQuery expenses. And if you are using any other cloud platform tools like TensorFlow or PubSub or some machine learning tools, you will be billed for them separately. But if you are processing and storing data up to $500 per month, this discount will cover it and you will not have any additional expenses. How does billing for lab properties work? Okay, it's quite interesting question because these kind of properties are very interesting, and using rollup property, you can aggregate data from your another properties into one property actually. So it lets you analyze the aggregated data from those source properties. Each hit processed in the rollup property is counted separately from the corresponding hit in the source property and is counted as 1/2 of a hit in a billable hit volume. So if you have, for example, 2 source properties, it might be useful if you have several domains, for example, avox.com and avox.us. We can use different web properties to collect data from these domains, and we can create the rollup property to analyze the data and create some rollup reports based on this common and aggregated data. So we will, for example, we have 10 million hits in the first source property and 8 million hits in the second source property. So in the aggregated rollup property, we will be billed for 9 million hits. Is a sum divided for 2. So actually we will be billed fully for the first property for 10 billion hits, then million hits, sorry, for the second source property and for the third rollup property, but it will not be covered on full, but only as a half of a hit.
Okay, so that's something to pay attention to. So once you use rollup property, pay attention that you will definitely have this hit increases. Things you will be billed for the additional hits in the rollup property.
Especially when you're trying to collect data from not from 2 source properties, but from 20 or even 30 properties, it will may cause huge increase in your billable hits.
Yeah. So another question. So does bot filtering influence the price? So the answer is yes. Once you have bot filtering and all those hits that are like filtered, they will be counted as billable ones since they have been processed by Google Analytics. So yes. The question, should I buy GA360 license for each of my domains? The answer is no. If you have like several domains and you can prove the connection between those domains that they belong to a single company, you can extend the GA360 license for all those domain and connect like all the properties to this GA360 license.
Yeah, but at the same time, if your domain contains the same name as your company, for example, as I said, avox.com or avox.us, you will not be, it's not necessary to present some additional documents to prove the connection of these properties and for these domains. So you may use your GA360 current license and upgrade these properties for different domains, even by yourself, using interface of GA360 Suite Home.
Okay, so moving forward, and again, if you have any questions, please do not forget to leave them in the chat. So what are the prepayment options for the license? The license can be acquired only for a year or 2. So this is like 1 year or 2 year or 1 year or 2 year prepayment might be in this case. And what you like, so once you decide to upgrade to GA360, make sure that all the challenges and business tasks that you actually have will be covered with Google Analytics 360 license. That's something that you should clarify and discuss with your reseller. Like give the reseller all the business tasks and your expectations from the license you are going to buy, and discuss them with the reseller so they can confirm that yes, the license will cover your needs.
So the license is not something you can try to and switch for 1 month and then get back again to the standard version, right?
Yes, that's something that you should keep in mind. Another question, how to decrease the number of hits per session and not to lose the quality of the data. So perhaps you know that there are tools that help you to send to decrease the number of hits per session, or you can send aggregated hits in a single hit. However, the main point here, there are ways you can solve it, and there are ways how the ways to decrease the number of hits per session. That's something we actually do for our clients, and the model to use, the solution to decrease the number of hits, depends on the model of your business. So usually, if you don't want to go to the next tier and pay more for the second or the third tier, but want to stay in the first tier of Google Analytics 360 license, discuss it with your reseller, and perhaps they will find the way to decrease the number of hits per session.
Okay, so the last question is, what parameters indicate the reasons for abnormal hit increases? These parameters can be tracked, or these increases can be tracked by views, events type, content page group, and so on. So you can find the reason and the cause of the abnormal hits level just taking a look at your data and compare it by event type or by view. And let us show you how we do it for our clients.
So every time we have JS360 client, the first thing we do, we build the dashboard to monitor the number of hits and to see the sources of those hits. So that's actually how it looks like. I'll show you the extended version. So this is a data studio dashboard that we actually built. So you can choose the dynamic parameters here, and here you can see the most important values to track and to keep an eye on. So here you can see the number of hits, and this percentage shows you that this month the number of hits is higher than it has been previous months. Here you can find the predicted build hits per month. So it means that eventually, in the end of the month, you will have this number of hits if you keep going this way as you currently are. Here you can find the predicted tier that you will get in the end of the month if you get this number of hits. So this report shows us that at the end of February, you will reach the third tier, and it's something that you should take into consideration and get ready to pay more for the third tier, since you have been on the second one. And here, this value shows us the number of sessions with 500 hits limit. So here we have 4% of sessions that increased that 500 hit limit. So, and you can find the source of those sessions that have this hit, have the source of the session that have more than 500 hits. and like block it or like optimize those like sessions,
or just take them into account. And you know that this report is built on the data from Google BigQuery, and it has the same shortcoming that these hits are not reported and not collected, but all these hits are included in the billable hit volume. So you just can, if you see that you are under the first tier and you have less than 500 million hits, but the share of sessions with more than 500 hits per session is quite big. So this value is about 10 or 20%. Be ready that the current number of hits and the number of hits by the end of the month will be increased by this percentage.
so it's like you pay for nothing. So it means those hits are not considered in the reports in Google Analytics, but still you pay for them. And moving forward, so as you see it, this bold blue line shows you the current number of hits you actually have, and this light blue line shows you the number of hits you will probably have in the end of the month. This purple line shows you the number of hits you had previous month, and you see that it differs from the months from like February. The red line shows you the current tier you are like right now in, and this pink line shows you the next tier that you will eventually reach in the end of this month. So, and another thing that you see this dashboard that shows you the number of hits splitted by every view. And before moving forward to the next step, let's answer the question that we actually have. How did you make the forecast on Data Studio?
Actually, the forecast was done in Google BigQuery data in Google spreadsheets. So the forecast was calculated there, and this dashboard is just like the interface to make this data available in the user interface. So it is collected and calculated in the Google spreadsheets, and it's kind of data source for this dashboard.
Yeah, but to pay attention like that, we collect and combine data in Google BigQuery. That helps us to process this data. Okay, so moving forward, and the next sheet of this dashboard is you see the number of hits, like the hits splitted by sources they come from, like the product page, catalog, and splitted by page types. Yeah, sorry. Another thing, you can see the number of hits for this month splitted by page type and view, and you can see so which like page brings you the biggest volume of hits.
And you can compare if you see some abnormal increases, for example, in page type cart, you see that there is abnormal number of hits for this page type. In comparing with the previous months, you see that there is something you should dig into this and try to find out what's happened, why there is such abnormal value of hits. And the last page is about the hits by type for the last 7 days and for the last 12 months. For the last 7 days, it's a kind of some operating information where you can just day by day track the number of your hits by type and find out if there are some abnormal increases or decreases. it also can be tracked, and it can be useful for you to analyze. And the same for the whole year. You can see that the types are more or less equal from month to month, and it's okay, it's normal, but you will be able to track if there are some abnormal things.
So like this dashboard helps you easily define the source of the abnormal number of hits. So that's something that you can look at and understand where you should go to spot this source of hits and block it and prevent it, those hits getting into your GA360 and won't be built. So, and
let's get back to our presentation.
Yeah, and I think that's the last but not the least topic. So how to avoid exceeding of the hit limit, what to do, where to run, whom to ask.
Okay, so first of all, make sure that you understand clearly how the GA360 billing works. As I said, you have number of hits, you have tires, and the price for each tire. All this information should be clearly stated in your contract with your reseller, and at any point and any date you can take a look at your dashboard, find out the number of hits you currently have or the predicted number of hits by the end of the month, and understand how much will it cost for you to cover the number of processed hits for this month. Okay, let's go forward.
So, and another thing, make sure that the reseller and your employees have clearly defined responsibilities in the agreement. So you should you should have a person who will be responsible for the billing issues with Google Analytics 360 and follow all those hits issues and hits number issues, and will be the person who will define the source of those hits and will be able to block them, and that this person has access to everywhere on your website, GDM, GA, and other tools.
Yep. Another quite useful thing is to set up real-time alerts. You can use email channel or Slack or any other suitable for you to create real-time alerts, and on the time when you have abnormal number of hits, or for example, you can set up the alert counting if your current number of hits is higher for 10% than the same day for the previous month, for example. So you will be alerted when there is such abnormal thing, and then you can go and find where the problem is and make some operative and real-time actions. Because if you find that there are abnormal volume of hits by the end of the month, it could be too late to do something, but real-time alerts can help you to solve the situation as soon as possible and avoid the exceeding of the limit.
Okay, and make sure that you actually have the dashboard that we've showed previously to monitor the number of hits, the sources of those hits splitted by page type, and the days and months. So to be sure, so the first thing where you should look up is your dashboard to monitor those hits value.
Yep, and if we can create, as Lina said, this dashboard for every of our GA360 clients. So feel free to become our client and ask for such a dashboard. So the next thing is that your employees responsible for billing and using the GA360 have the access to the dashboard and can spot abnormal source of hits. So, okay, you got the alert, you have the dashboard, but if your employees do not have any access to avoid and to spot it, all these things will be just unuseful.
Yeah.
Or useless, sorry.
And make sure like that the reseller that you work with also has the access to this dashboard, because sometimes it happens that reseller spot those abnormal number of hits like faster than the clients, than the clients. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks everyone who joined us, and I hope you enjoyed the webinar. And we're happy to get your questions at questions@allvox.com. So do not hesitate to email us, and like have a great day ahead.
Thanks you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.